Welcome to the Simpler Business Podcast, where we talk about ways to do what you love and serve your people in a way that brings you income and freedom. I'm your host, Marissa Roberts. Join me as I chat with my favorite entrepreneurs about how they simplify their biz so that you can simplify yours. It's no secret that I am a big believer in adding more joy, ease, and flow to your business in order to grow and scale without burnout. To me, it just makes sense that if you can find a way to really enjoy your work life, you'll find it so much easier to show up consistently, build a genuine connection with your potential clients and customers, and sell your products and services without needing to be pushy or salesy. And you know what? When I find other people who clearly have the same vibe on this topic, it is such a joy to have them on the show and chat with them about it. So today's episode is going to be really fun and uplifting because we're going to be talking about monetizing your expertise and growing and scaling your business online with two people who are really good role models on doing just that. Co-founders of the Mind Bug and creators of the Experts Accelerator program, Matteo, Bruschi and Renata Farah started working together online in 2017 with a goal of having geographical and financial freedom. In 2019, they realized their shared purpose was to help people shine through their own expertise and to support others around them in creating a chain reaction of goodness. And I just love that. Now they specialize in empowering coaches and experts to monetize their passion and impact others in a positive way by growing and scaling their online platform to reach and help as many people as possible without sacrificing their lifestyle and freedom. So I'm so excited to chat with them today because these two are a great example of finding a way to do what you love in a way that lights you up. And I think we need more of that in the world. So welcome, Matteo, Renata. I'm so excited to have you here today.
Thank you for having us, Marissa. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you very much and for the lovely introduction.
From now it's all downhill.
You guys are really inspiring. And I love the energy that I see when I watch your YouTube videos or I have a look at your blog posts, because what I really love is that you guys are genuinely you. Like when we started chatting this afternoon, when you signed in for the podcast, I was like, oh, your personalities in real life is exactly like the personality I see on YouTube and there's, what I see on the blog. It's like you actually really do live what you talk about, which is like be yourself and find a way to use who you are to inspire people and help people in a way that also helps you with financial freedom too. So yeah, I'm super excited to chat today because I think if we had more of that out there, how much better would the world be, right?
Yes, I agree.
Absolutely.
Totally.
And this is one of the things we stand for, really empowering people. And if we can help someone else help other people, together we can make the world a better place. That's what we talk about all the time.
Yeah, it's the chain reaction, right? One impacting the other is the positive impact that we can
absolutely create. It's like a snowball, right? Yeah.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
So for listeners who haven't met you before, let's start by telling us more about your background or your story. I'd love for you to let us know, how did you meet? How did you start working together? What kind of got you to where you are right now on your business journey?
So I'll go for it for this first one. My background is in marketing and I am actually a former I still getting used to the former word, but a journalist. I used to work with sports events, travel the whole world. But Matteo has his background in finance, and he was also a professional cyclist and triathlete. So there is a huge background in sport as well. I think this is where, for us, we cross paths. Is definitely on the sport aspect of everything, because we are both very passionate about cycling, and this is how we met. We literally met in a petrol station. So, when you are open,
very romantic.
So but what I believe about the story and the reason why I really like to share about how we met is because when you are open for opportunities, they are actually everywhere. You just have to have the actual intention to give yourself the chance to open up for that occasion, So you would say, I would never find somebody in a petrol station. You can find somebody anywhere on the corner of your house, maybe walking on the street, walking your dog, traveling in the seat next to you on the bus. Opportunities are all over the place. It all depends on what are you looking for, and how open are you for this kind of opportunities if they show up to your life. So we were both riding on this sunny day in Melbourne, and it was super hot. Every cyclist stops in this petrol station to refuel their water bottles and to put sunscreen. And I was riding with my friends. Matteo was riding with his friends, and we just catch up in the same place. And then we started to have this chat, and we started to ride together. We exchanged contact details, and everything started from there. And from that petrol station to now has been already almost 5 years together. Wow. And in this in between, I think sharing our common passion that definitely started from cycling, and also our vision, where you want to go, right? We started to see so many commonalities, so many things that we are looking towards the same thing. And this is when we realized that if we were to work together following the same line, it would work. So we get this question really often is, how can you work together and sleep together and eat together and live together?
And didn't start, immediately. It was a work in progress, right? Yeah. So you obviously along the way, we had to learn, and you make mistakes, and you get angry at each other, and you're like, oh, why did you do that? But then along the journey, like you learn to to become a little bit more patient, both of us, with each other, and you learn to leave each other more space and have our own, time where we need to get in the zone and do our things.
Yeah, it's not an overnight success. I think that there is a lot of these, especially online, right? Of people seeing social media and posts and videos of other people that are ahead of them, and believing that everything happened night and day. Monday I started, Tuesday I'm a millionaire. Monday I started, Tuesday I have the love of my life. Monday I started, Tuesday I'm slim.
There's a great example. It's like, why would it take 10 years to become a doctor or an engineer or a lawyer or a professional athlete? And everybody thinks that you can become a millionaire overnight. Yeah. Why would it be any different? Why would it be any different in the amount of work and volume and dedication and frustration and pain and being up until late at night? Why would it be any different to start a business? There's no difference.
Yeah. So when we started to work together, Marissa, one of our, I would say, what would be if you want to say, what is the one thing that allow you guys to keep working together, is definitely having the same vision, wanting to go to the same place. Because if you don't want to go to the same place, if my goals are too different from Matteo's goals in the core of it, we are going to diverge, and it's not going to be possible, because what is important to him is not important to me. So I think this is not just for partners in terms of partner men and women, but also in business partnerships, or if you want to have an associate or somebody working with
having common values, right? In general, just common values, which are at the end of the day are your North Star. It's really what you're looking at when it's the moment to make a hard decision. It's like, what direction are we going to take? Are we going to focus on the shiny object syndrome, or are we going to just follow our path, our values?
And this ultimately, Marissa, wrapping up your question, is what led us into working with this expertise and wanting to take out of people the best of them to move towards something that they're very passionate about. It's all about around their values, because you want to connect with people that are similar to you, think similarly to you, or that they believe that you can help them. Because when you are with people that are in completely opposite side, this is when you struggle. You don't find any fulfillment in what you're doing. This is when you're frustrated, disappointed, overwhelming. All these bad things, in quotes, they are associated, most of them, when your values or what you believe it's true to you goes in a completely different way, and then you struggle, right? So having those aligned is really important.
That's a really good point, actually. And I think, you're right, whether it's a romantic partner or a business partner or both, you can clearly see that the two of you have the same values in life. You both have the same goal. Yes, you want financial freedom, but you want better things for the world and the people in it as well. And that just you can't hide it if you have different goals, can you? Like, you'll always end up with one person resenting the pathway you've gone down. And then you can't achieve any goals if you're not both 100% in. Like, hurdles will pop up. You'll have days where you don't feel like doing anything, but then your overall focus and your overall goal is if it's the same, then I think that's really what makes it work.
No, 100%.
So let's talk a little bit about monetizing your expertise, because I always find this really, really interesting. I think that if people could hook in on this concept, it would make the world a better place, because people would enjoy what they do more, but also, you'd have so many more happy people out there that the flow-on effect would be amazing. So yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about monetizing expertise. How come you guys are so passionate about it? How do you use that concept to help aspiring entrepreneurs?
Yeah, I think it's a very good question, and everything started for us because when we started our business 4 years ago, we struggled big times. We invested so much money. We spent weekend in, weekend out. Everybody was on the beach. We were there doing the hard yards. And differently from sport, where you put 100, you get 100 back immediately. In business, it can take a lot longer. And then all of a sudden, they see the exponential growth of the business. Everything, boom, takes off. But you might not see results for months, sometimes years. And so for us, it was like a moment where we, so many times, myself in particular, more than Renata, because I come from a family of employees. She comes from a family of entrepreneurs. I want to give up so many times. I was like, you know what, this is so hard, way harder than a sport. And so we wanted to create something where we believe in people, because a lot of people, business is so much about mindset. And yes, there is the skill part, but everybody gets stuck in the mindset. I'm not good enough. You see, I told you, you will lose money. You see, I told you will fail. How are you going to look in front of people? And shame is what really get people stuck and wanting to give up. And so we believe that so many people need someone to actually be there to empower them and believe in them. And we are very excited about empowering people and bringing this energy, this Latino mix.
Monetizing from our expertise, we can think in a very simple framework here. So why you get a job? It's because you're an expert in something and somebody's hiring what you're good at to be paid for. What is the difference from you doing this by yourself and doing this by somebody paying you? Is the comfort, right? Because once you apply, it's more comfortable for you to go there. You don't have the same responsibilities. You have your paycheck every month. Everything is ticking in. But what's the reason why you were hired in first place? Is because you're exchanging your value for money. This is where comes the time for money trading, right? That we talk, stop trading your time for money, because what you're selling is definitely your expertise, but your time to the employer in the case, right?
Yeah.
To exchange that with you. So what you're going to do, as it was simple, it's better, easier said than done, is using the same set of skills into something that you can solve a problem. Because this is something also, Marissa, that is very important to highlight. You can be an expert in something and you can be really good at something, but if you don't know how to teach that to other people, or how to translate that same way that you solve problems to yourself to other people, then definitely there is something that has to be worked in there, right?
And most of the people have an expertise. They don't even recognize that they have it
because they take it for granted. For them, it's normal.
Easy for them. Yeah.
It's easy for them.
And if they do make that, try to develop a coaching business or any sort of a business, and they make it like an expensive hobby. And so it's very important to recognize how, to build a real business rather than just developing and building an expensive hobby. And so what we stand for is really making progress every single day, making progress, improving financially in our business, our relationship, in our emotions. And so for us, progress equal happiness, equal feeling successful. And so if we can help other people to do the same, that's what is something we're really excited about.
No, exactly. And I think that's all that's the person that wants to get into, okay, right, I feel like I have an expertise. I'm really well paid for this company, but I'm sick of it. I'm not feeling any fulfillment. I have a boss. I hate him, my manager, whatever. I want to have my freedom, like my time freedom. I want to transition from my corporate job into my own business. There is a lot of things that has to be worked in between. There is like a bridge. It's not, and I'm not scaring anybody, but I just like to be real that what is going to stop you in this bridge is not your skills, is your mind. Is your mindset saying that, after you being so long being paid by an employer, it's tough for you to day and night, and this is a day and night decision, right? For you to stop having that happening, like having this paycheck every month. So it's a whole transition. So what we realized ourselves when we did this ourselves is we started as a side hustle. We had our job. We started as a side hustle. And slowly, when it started to balance into the side hustle was sustainable and became something that, okay, we are comfortable in living in that minimum thing so we can make the leap, go for it, and just, you don't need to be jumping from a cliff every time, Entrepreneurship is already too many cliffs for it to jump. So there is certain cliffs that you can measure your risk, and this is one of them. So when somebody come to us and want to work with us, for example, Marissa, one of the things we say is you don't have to jump in terms of, I'm going to leave my job and become like a mindset coach because I know I'm really good at it. We believe in you. It's going to happen, but let's do a step at a time. So it's not overwhelming, right? You can start to receive the feedback that what you do and what the market wants. You are solving a real problem. It's not fluff. People don't buy fluff, right? And then you start slowly to build the castle, slowly and get there. So I think that when we became good at doing that, that's when we said, okay, now that we could do ourselves, can we teach this to somebody else? Right. And then that's how we started. And then we saw that there was traction, there was results. People were getting the momentum. So I said, now we can do this. So this is how we help and teach other people.
But we are very straightforward. It takes work, It takes a lot of work. It takes dedication. They need to show up. They need to really go through the process. But if they do, follow the process, it works.
It's rewarding.
Yeah. And I think that's why it's important to start with something you're passionate about too, right? Like if you love the thing that you're good at, then you're willing to put in the effort and get better at things like this. I'm very good at organizing and simplifying, but I was very bad at selling my service to people when I started because I didn't know how to tell them how paying me was going to be worth it. And that was a huge hurdle for me when I got started, because I was like, I knew why being organized and simplifying your life was a really good idea, but I just couldn't get the words across. And so for me, if I had have left my job completely at the start, I would have been so stressed out because I wouldn't have known how to do it. So you're right, being able to reduce that risk factor, it takes the pressure off. It takes the worry away. You know that you're not going to die if you can't do it perfectly straight away. And that makes you want to practice at it and get better at it and learn how to do it, right?
Yes.
100%. Yes. When you know that, nothing is going to happen to you. The sun is going to be shining the next day. The roof is going to be over your head. You have a bed, you have food on your fridge. You're going to survive. It's kind of a survival thing that comes to our brain, and comes all these alerts, these things coming. And it's amazing how we are so good in just bringing to our heads the worst case scenario, right?
As the good Sadhguru said, one thing is pain, is physical pain. You feel physical pain, you have pain, your body is physical, but one thing is suffering. And most of the time, always, actually not most of the time, we suffer for something that happened in the past and doesn't exist anymore, or something that might happen in the future. And if the what if, we already suffer because of the what if. And if, what if is going to happen? What if that is going to, what if, but actually nothing is happening right now. I'm safe. That's why entrepreneurship is so much about mindset. It's so much about mindset.
Yeah, I totally agree. All right. So you're working with entrepreneurs, you're helping them discover what it is that they're passionate about, what their expertise is, and you're helping them learn how to sell that and help other people. What about the scaling part? What do you think is the best vehicle to be able to scale so that they're not just going to burn out working as an entrepreneur?
Yeah. I think it's actually very simple when we give examples, right? For anything, what is the one thing that if you do every day, you're never going to be able to scale is if you trade your time for money. You just have 24 hours in a day. If you use all your hours doing something yourself, sitting down, writing something, you're going to be trading that hour for that, whatever you are doing. So the best way for you to skip that part is to automate systems. That's why it was created so many automations, right? In the world. That's why online is such a powerful tool, that I think, especially now after the pandemic or during, if we are still over it, we started to learn how much can be done that you don't need to be physically sitting down in a chair doing it, right? So scaling is all about automating systems. So how can you automate your delivery? Or how can you automate whatever you are delivering? What you're delivering to your clients? That take out that hour that you were sitting doing one-on-ones, for example. So one-on-one is a killer for coaches, right? Especially for coaches, because you are sitting down in a chair and there is just 1 hour, 24 hours in a day, 8 hours you have to go to sleep, roughly 7. And then other hours you have to cook, to shower, to, do all the other activities. So there's just so many hours. So the jump here, what you have to do is, how can I automate part of my business so then I can dedicate just my time to the most important, the one thing that is the most important one to move people forward, right? We believe that automations itself doesn't work. You have to dedicate your time exchanging, because people need the trade, they need the community, need the contact, right?
Yeah.
So
they need the live feedback as well.
The live feedback.
We had a student that she had, I think 15 clients, and she said, guys, I need to put a hole in my chair to go to the toilet because I don't have time left.
Yeah, that's how it feels. Yeah.
And what happens, a lot of coaches, Marissa, they get so passionate about what they do, but the problem is they keep repeating the same thing all day long, and they lose the fulfillment, they lose the excitement, because it's always the same thing. So how can you automate the part that you're repeating while still adding value through group coaching or even one-on-one session if you like, but in a way that is scalable and in a way that you can actually
in a way that when your clients come to the call, they're already prepared with things that you've been repeating over and over and over, because maybe in a day you are repeating the same things to the same 5 people, but you're just delivering in one-on-one. So how can you take that away and then you just dedicate what is important to them so they can move forward, right? Yeah. We have this student, she's a personal brand coach, and personal brand coach is very personalized, right? But we helped her to actually take the repetition out of her one-on-ones and just dedicate time for, what is important for each student. And she went from having 12 clients to having like almost 50. So it's, you go to the next level, and then you create more impact, you reach more people. So it's just for the good.
Yeah. So do you take the basic stuff, the repetition, the stuff that you're repeating, you take that and put it in a course, and then you're free for the support factor and the motivation factor and the tweaking and helping in that way?
It becomes even more valuable because you go recorded sessions, WAV files, PDFs, and that they can consume at their own time. Yeah. Plus, twice a week, they get to catch up in 2 different time zones, 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. Melbourne time, for different time zones. So if they want, they can even do 2 sessions a week live, come on the call, get feedback, brainstorm with other students, do share screen, share where they are at, mistakes or things they did in the exercises that they didn't get. Yeah. So it becomes even more valuable than just a one-on-one coaching where it's just you and the student, where in this case, everybody's asking questions, everybody's adding value to each other. Yeah. And everybody's making more progress and keeping each other accountable as well.
And there is the collaboration, which is a huge step for people to keep themselves accountable to move forward. Yeah. And sometimes they connect in between themselves. We don't even know that they did that. And this is when you see, right, I did this right.
I built it and it's working. Yeah. And they're helping each other.
That's exactly what we want. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that, because it's like the meat and potatoes is covered with an online course and with templates and swipe files and all of that stuff. But the stuff where people then usually get stuck, because there's heaps of courses out there and people take the course and they never finish it, right? Because there's no accountability and there's no support. So you guys find a balance of both so that they get the important stuff, but then you help them actually work it and do it and have the mindset and the confidence and don't give up, that sort of factor. I love that.
Yes. Coursera alone it just doesn't work. People just get lost. They need accountability. Yeah. And, excuse my French, but they need someone to kick it their ass.
I think that's a good way to balance it. And then you don't burn out as the coach either. You can give 100% quality because you're not tired and exhausted from doing it one-on-one anymore. So
and then you can focus in what is the most important part of your business, which is marketing and sales, right? Is how to put your product out there and to have more people going through it. So it's kind of a win-win for everybody. It's a win-win for the clients, a win-win for you as the business owner. It's you reach more people. It's a hybrid model that works really well, and and that's what we help people with.
I love that. All right. So I think our listeners are going to love the concept that we talked about today, and they're probably going to want to jump in and find out more. So how do they see more from you guys specifically? Do you have a website that you can point them to, or how do they find you?
Yes.
Yeah, so they can go to Matteo, so Matteo and Renata. So that's
Matteo and Renata.
Matteo and Renata.
Yep.
Matteo is in English. Matteo and Renata. So there is
.com.
.com.
Oh, yeah, .com.
.com. And there you're going to find, there is a link for our next workshop. Actually, we're going to be talking exactly about this topic of how can you connect all the dots.
And I'll make sure I put a link in the show notes too, so people could just click and get right over there and see it really easily. Yeah, that's really cool. Thank you so much. I am so excited that you're on here today. You just, honestly, when I speak to you guys, you can just tell how passionate you are about what you do, and everything that you've said today, it's kind of, you have this amazing ability to simplify it. Like, yes, there's a lot of different moving parts, but actually once they're kind of set in motion, it's very smooth. It's very easy to keep replicating and doing it so that you're not burning out. And I really, really love that, because that's kind of what holds so many people back, is they feel too busy and they feel too like they're working too hard and they feel too tired and they're juggling too much. And you guys have found a really nice balanced way to deliver really good content and really good coaching in a way that suits you and your clients. So yeah, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing.
Marissa, thank you very much. I'm just going to wrap this to encourage your audience and people listening to this, is that everything that takes is the first step. You don't know what you don't know. So you don't know how it's going to look like if you don't give the hardest step, which is the first one. Then after you do the first one, the second one is going to appear. It's like if you're walking in a bridge and there is fog, right? You don't know what's on the other side of the cliff because the bridge is all full of fog. But as you walk, you see that the bridge is there. Yeah. And you're not going to die, and that things continues, So, but you have to get into the bridge and start doing the little steps. Otherwise, it's going to stay in your head as a dream. You're going to procrastinate. You're going to say, oh, what if it happens to them? It doesn't happen to me. Yeah. It's just because you didn't start. Yeah. So getting started and exploring, it's the first step.
And find your coaches that done all the mistakes, so you don't need to commit them.
You don't have to repeat them over.
People who have done it before, so they can tell you, hey, here's the easy part. Here's the hurdle. Here's how you do it.
Much easier.
So the bridge is a little bit more stable.
Yes, that's so cool. Thank you so much. All right, so for everybody who's listening today, make sure you check out the show notes. I've got a link to matteoandrenata.com down there, so you can check out more and join you guys for the workshop. And yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this episode, and I will see you in the next one. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Simpler Business Podcast. If you did, please subscribe, rate, and review us on Apple Podcasts. There's a link in the show notes to make it nice and easy for you, just the way we like it. If you're ready to simplify and scale your business, you can get started with my free audio class at marissaroberts.com. See you next time.